Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for the last chart of 2019, and it's an eclipse, and it's on my birthday too. You know, honestly, I'm kind of nervous about it because that eclipse back in January really did some crazy stuff happen around then. That was the new moon eclipse in January of this year, 2019. So it may be worth reflecting back on that. All in all, you know, the things that happened in my life were pretty disruptive, but everything worked out, as they always do, because that's what the universe, you know, the universe is always going to make things, it's always for your highest good, you know, and I know that's such a cliche, and that's, you know, it's so easy to say when your life's not the one getting turned upside down. Oh, it always happens for the best, and you're like, wow, you want to kill somebody when they say that, but it really does. Oh, by the way, my name's Vickieverlie. If you've never seen my channel, I am a psychic and a tarot reader and an astrologer. I take a psychic astrology approach to this. It's not just studying astrology and quoting back from books. I use this almost like a scrying tool, and I get a lot of psychic impressions from it. So if you're very rigid by the book astrologer, this might not be for you. And on the other hand, if you are like, oh my god, she's going to be doing astrology, I don't understand this, just hang in there, because it does get, you know, it gets more psychic as we go along. One thing, I just want to get a cough drop before we start. I'm getting over this nasty flu, like a lot of you, I'm sure. Just for precaution, let's get a cough drop so I don't start, like, hacking, you know, in the middle of the reading. I want that. Alright, so this is it. The Big Daddy eclipse on December 26, 2019. And it is Capricorn out the wazoo here. We've got Moon, Sun, Jupiter, South Node, Ceres, Saturn, Pluto. The Saturn-Pluto conjunction is in orb, meaning it's close enough to count, you know, if you don't understand astrology. It means it's happening, you know, and that's going to be a huge thing. This has not, there hasn't been a Saturn-Pluto, okay, first of all, Pluto hasn't been in Capricorn since the 1700s. And it was actually the 1762 through 1777. So during the time that United States was being born, you know, Pluto was in Capricorn the last time. So it's, the United States is having its Pluto return, so can be very tumultuous. It is a very tumultuous time, as it was back in, you know, the 1700s. But secondly, there hasn't been a Saturn-Pluto in Capricorn since 1518. So long story short, none of us living today have experienced this energy and this transit. You know, Jupiter's been in Capricorn. It goes around every 12 years. So we experienced this. The nodes have been in Capricorn, South Node, you know, every 18 years or so. So it's an end, you know, astrology always is this endless cycle of repeating patterns. And if you live long enough, you get to, you know, you get to experience them more than once, and you have like a, you know, you have a basis to compare it to, like, oh yeah, I remember what happened then. Oh yeah, you know, so you kind of have this similar, you kind of hopefully have like a similar vibe to deal with, you know, to relate to reference, you know, a reference point. Nobody living today has a reference point for this in their own lives, you know, they just don't. So it's pretty spectacular, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty exciting, it can be. It can be a little scary, exciting, you know, both. Fear, excitement, kind of the same vibe, can be. You can turn fear into excitement, you know, definitely. You know, I've done that back in the day. Sometimes I get a little stage fright, maybe playing some big show, and then just turn it around, you know, like, yeah, this is exciting, this is awesome, and turn it into excitement. So hopefully that's a way. A lot of people have a lot of trepidation about this, you know, and you have astrologer friends, oh no, it's gonna be this, yeah. Flipping out. And, you know, flipping out does you absolutely no good. It just, what I've been telling people, I've been doing a lot of I have the year ahead readings, and I'm doing the second eclipse reading where the Saturn-Pluto is right on, the January 10th one. Those are all available on my website. But what I've been telling people, especially if it's really hitting your chart really strong, which a lot of people who are ordering these readings, it is, you know, it's like this harness the power. Harness that power. Don't be afraid of it, you know. This stuff too, this new moon, it's trining Uranus. You know, it's trining down to Uranus, and there is like, there is an electrical charge to it. You know, there's this electrical charge. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. You know, you don't want to. What they're showing me is like somebody taking plugging to like, almost like what's that movie with the Back to the Future with Doc? You know, like his hair goes, you know, like that. But it's the 121 cigarettes, whatever, and it gets Marty, you know, it achieves this miraculous event, you know. So sometimes big jolts of electricity and big jolts of vibrational energy are needed to create miraculous events. Yeah, when it's the United States and we could get in, and I'm not even going to go touch that with a 10-foot pole, all the politics stuff. But, you know, this is our personal lives. And it's not only if you're a Capricorn. I am this is my solar, my birthday is 4 degrees. I am 4 degrees Capricorn sun, so it's a little, I'm trying not to be scared too. Well, I wasn't scared in the last January one. I was so excited, and then the shit hit the fan and everything went haywire. Well, I might as well just tell you what happened. So, my grandson was born, but there was complications, and he was in the ER for a couple of weeks, and it was touch and go, you know, so that everybody was scared for him. But today he's a healthy, happy child, so he's, you know, he's okay. That worked out, and I had to go and get my gallbladder out. But my gallbladder had been bothering me for a long time, and I couldn't eat, and, you know, there was excuse me one second, you know, there was a lot of problems with that. And it was traumatic, you know, my daughter's in surgery, I'm in surgery, you know, it was just chaos. And, you know, it was recovery time and whatnot. But I could eat anything I want now, maybe to my detriment. No, but I mean, I couldn't, I was used to living on just soup and Jell-O, you know, I couldn't eat. So the eclipse was like, gallbladder's coming out, you know, and then it was kind of chaotic and everything was going crazy, but I'm definitely better now without the gallbladder. So that's what eclipses do, crazy stuff like that. And we all are better with my grandson. He's an awesome dude. So, you know, but it's disruptive. It can be disruptive. And I don't think that, I'm pretty sure the last one, Uranus, was not involved at all. It wasn't even in orb or anything. So this one trining the Uranus, things could really take a turn for, you know, surprising events could happen. Hopefully they're joyful, you know, that's what I really want to say about it, is hopefully they're going to be joyful, hopefully they're going to be wondrous, joyful, beautiful. There's a silver lining is what I'm hearing. There will be a silver lining, you know, you just got to look for that silver lining. And again, that's so easy to say, oh yeah, look for the silver lining, yeah, everything's meant to be, when you're going through, you know. Well, know that the changes are coming. This is not a thing that's going to just go by and nothing's going to happen, okay? That's not, even if it's not hitting your chart because of the Pluto-Saturn, you know, the whole thing. Just know it's going to happen, and use the energy, harness the energy. Don't hang on to things. It's that old saying, you know, first the universe taps you on the shoulder, then they start throwing pebbles, and then they start really, you know, throwing some fireballs and stuff. So you want to just embrace it, you know, and just be in the zone of, okay, all right, universe, I trust you. What's next? What's happening? This Uranian thing, I feel like could be really a wonderful surprise. Another thing that I'm noticing, well, you know, we've got the whole Capricorn thing up here. But I'm just going to stick to this for a minute. All this Capricorn trining the Taurus stuff here. We've got Vesta and Uranus. And then, to make the grand trine would be the Virgo energy. So again, if you have Virgo in your chart, this could really be a nice blessing for you, I think. It could feel, they're showing me like things clicking into place, or filling in the pieces, or, you know, the pieces of the puzzle, kind of, everything kind of coming together for you. But thinking back, because many of my generation, many people born in the 60s have Uranus and Pluto in Virgo. So our Uranus Pluto conjunction of the 60s, as a generation, we're going through, you know, this huge this huge event, this big grand trine is going to really, this point, because if you're one of your planets fills in the missing spot in a grand cross, a grand trine, or anything, you're impacted, right? So it's coming in, and many of our generation are going to be really impacted by it. It's our Pluto-Uranus, you know, and then Uranus and Pluto are involved, and Saturn. I mean, it's just some pretty big stuff here. I say this in a lot of the readings. Many of our generation, born in the 60s, are coming into their second Saturn return. You know, I've been reading some charts there lately. I'm a couple years away. I have Saturn in mid-Aquarius, but you know, I have to laugh about it because I think back when I was doing readings back in the 80s and 90s, working at the psychic fairs, and somebody would sit down with me, and I'd look them up in the ephemeris, and I would see that they're having their second Saturn return. And I would think in my head, honestly, this is my ego, crazy mind, you know, back then. I would sit down and I would think to myself, well, why are you even getting a reading? Your life is over. What a cocky little asshole I was, really, you know. And now that I'm coming up to this, it's like, wait a minute, my life's not over. You know, I was so young and cocky and stupid. But many of us of that generation are coming in for it's right around the corner, you know. It's the people in the very early, like 1960, I think, and maybe 61 have Saturn and Capricorn. They're having their actual Saturn return. So it's coming in with a bang, man. It's really coming in super powerful here. And the thing about, you know, what I just said about, oh, you know, you're old, your life's over, just throw in the towel, you know, forget about it. Well, you know, too, just a little quick side note, too. I remember as a child, you know, thinking in the year 2000, many of us can relate to this, like, you thought you'd be flying around in space, you know, spaceships and, you know, flying cars like the Jetsons and whatnot. And then you do the math, and I remember thinking, in, like, as an elementary school, and I'm like, oh my God, in the year 2000, I'm going to be old. And here it's 20 years later. It's crazy. And I still don't feel old. But anyway, so this Capricorn stuff. What is Capricorn? What is the 10th house? What are you striving for? That's what the 10th house is. You know, there's a lot of things. It's your career. It's how people see you. But when I think of Capricorn energy and 10th house energy, if you're not familiar, it's all the same, Saturn and Capricorn, 10th house. I think of what you're striving for. The goat is walking up the hill. It always wants to get to the next plateau. It always wants to get to the next higher level. So even as an older person, or over 50, say, you know, you're still striving. You're still, you have goals. You still have things you want to accomplish. And the Uranus, you know, 'cause things could just show up out of nowhere. Like, wow, that came out of left field. I feel for a lot of people that it's going to involve some relationships, you know, that maybe relationships, like people might be having midlife crisis, you know, and I'm not going to just, I know younger people are saying, oh, I don't want to hear about your old people shit. Just hang in there. This is just, but, you know, people have midlife crisis, and, you know, they go, well, I'm going to go, whatever, buy the fancy car and leave my wife and this and that, whatever. That's that Uranian energy kicking in. So some of that kind of stuff could happen, you know. Like people, oh, I thought we were fine. And then Uranian, I want to be free. I'm done. I'm leaving. You know, so there could be stuff like that, but it will be a blessing. It will be a blessing, too, because Jupiter's right in there, man. It'll be a blessing. Get rid of that, you know, that dead weight. If somebody doesn't love you, why do you want to stay with them anyway? That's always my motto, you know. Just so you can have somebody, you know, maybe it's overrated in some cases, you know. 10th house isn't a partnership house necessarily, not really at all. 10th house is you striving for what you want to do in life. You putting yourself in the spotlight. You putting yourself in where you want to be, getting to the top of the heap, getting to the top of the mountain. So there could be opportunities to do that. This is a new moon eclipse, so usually it's initiating new things in your life. So it's a good time to try to do stuff like that. Although it's happening on Christmas Day a lot of places. You know, it's Christmas Day or day out, 12:03 a.m. Eastern, so just after midnight. But, you know, it's a good time to initiate that on some level. Of course, I wouldn't be going, you know, sending out emails on Christmas Day, you know, even if you're not a Christian, you know, might be considered crass. But you know, it's a good time to do it. This Jupiter South Node, because I've looked at that other chart extensively already, the January 10th, because I'm doing those readings for people. And you can get that if you're interested. And I'll look at exactly how it does you in a bi-wheel. Your chart here, and then the events surrounding the second eclipse, which the Saturn-Pluto is right in orb, and Jupiter South Node is right, it's exact, you know. But what I feel about in general, this is approaching, and the Jupiter South Node thing is benefits from people from your past, past lives or past history in this incarnation. But beneficial connection is coming together. You could hear from somebody from the past out of the blue. Uranian could speak crazy out of the blue. Wow, never saw that coming. Wow, or just run into them. We don't think of it like that anymore because we're so engrossed in social media, you know. But maybe they'll hit you up on social media, or maybe, you know, like the old days, you might just run into them right on the street, you know. Oh, wow, what's happening? What was I going to say about this thing? Oh, I want to talk about this. Mercury is just about on the galactic center at that time. Real close. And Mercury conjunct the galactic center is a time when we can really get some cool downloads. It's a time when we could have some major realizations, some major turnabouts in our mental mind and thinking. We can, because that portal is open, or it's aligned with the portal of the galactic center, you know, we can connect with because I have a video broadcasting from the universe. That's one of the first videos I ever did. There's ideas floating around up there all the time, you know, and we just have to reach out and grab them and connect with them, you know. And if you want to hear more about it, you could watch that video. But you know, I've had instances where people think of the same thing, and that's why there's the race to the patent office, because more than one person will grab. I see that on YouTube videos. That's why I never watch anybody else's video for new or full moons until I've done my own, because I don't want to inadvertently say anything, but many times the same thing will come through, or things I say that comes through for me. A lot of the downloads I get, I'll talk about in these videos rather than making other ones. It's just too much of a hassle half the time, but I'll get a download and then I'll hear it in somebody else's video, nothing even having to do with astrology. So the universe is doing its broadcasting all the time. There's those wavelengths, almost you could think of it like radio waves or TV signals, like floating around up there all the time. With the Mercury aligning with that galactic center, whoosh, whoosh, you know, there could be definitely your mind, your mental mind could connect with it. It's over here and it's squaring off like with Lilith. It's squaring up with Lilith exact almost, and then it's kind of squaring the Neptune. But the Lilith thing, that could be interesting. You know, Lilith is thought of as this vengeful person and everything, and it could go like that. It could go like that. You could find out something like, you know, holiday time, come on, you're going to be around family, and there's always gossip and this and that. You know, you could find out, well, this happened, you know. Oh, well, you know, and you could cop an attitude. This could be like a kind of a bitchy attitude, in other words. But, or you could take the other part. Lilith was unwavering. Lilith couldn't be shaken. Lilith couldn't be manipulated by small-minded, behaviors. She took the high road. I mean, in a lot of ways, it depends on how you look at it. But I see a lot of times I'll see Lilith as taking the high road, and Lilith is trining over here with the Mars. So this is, you know, be that warrior. You could be that warrior spirit. You could harness that energy. You could not let it, you know, don't let them get to you, because Mercury can be kind of small-mindedness too. It's the lower vibration of Uranus, you know. Small-minded isn't necessarily the negative side of it, you know. The positive, there's very many positive signs. Don't Gemini start jumping all over me. You know, but the negatives, there's every sign has positive and negative, okay? And The negative could be small-mindedness, you know. Na, 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 na. You know, childish poking and prodding kind of vibrations going on. So don't take that high road. Harness your power to be this warrior of, you know, because Mars could be anger and aggression too on a negative side, but Mars can also be that proud warrior that, you know, they're showing me like the guy or the person, whoever, with his wind, you know, I guess it's it's Mercury, right? With the cape blowing in the wind, and hair and cape blowing in the wind, standing on top of the mountain with the Capricorn energy. Well, let's go back to this Capricorn energy. Speaking of positive and negative, you know, yeah, it's striving, achieving, and all that, but it can be controlling. It can be wanting to dominate. You know, that can come up. And this eclipse energy is squaring up with the Chiron. And so there, you know, it depends. There could be a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different timelines, a lot of different vibrations that you can, with the Mercury and the thing, the galactic center here, you know, there's layers. You could have the holiday experience of reverting back to childhood and your brother acting like an asshole and fighting and that would be one of the lower forms, and your parents trying to, you know, read you the riot act and tell you, oh, this is how this is and blah blah blah, or the older people in your family. And then there's a lot of different layers, and then the very top layer, the top timeline, could be, you know, just stepping back, stepping outside of yourself, stepping outside of your monkey mind, standing on top of that mountain, being that warrior spirit, soaring like the eagle, soaring like, you know, looking at it from a higher level, from the top of the mountain, and not in a condescending way. Not in a way of, oh, I'm so above all you, you know, you low life, whatever. I've come so far. But it's not a bad thing to see that you've come so far. And because, you know, that I always say about the goat too, he eats those tin cans, you know, along the way. You know, you ate a lot of tin cans to get to that top of that mountain. Well, maybe not. Maybe you just floated right up there, but most people, you gotta eat those tin cans to get up there. And, so, you know, you've done the work. If you've done the work on yourself and you've progressed, hopefully you've progressed from where you started out in life. I think that's probably everybody's goal from an esoteric point of view, right? Then it's not going to get to you as much. You can see past all that. You can love beyond that is what I'm hearing. You can love beyond that. Yeah, that's good. You can love your old grandpa who's talking about, you know, saying all this racist stuff or whatever, you know, doing that, you know, stuck in his old school way of thinking, you know, or even grandma, you know, these older people, because this Capricorn is the older people. That's what it rules. And, you know, you can get past your sibling wanting to revert back to childish, you know, competition or whatever went on, name calling, or, you know, like noogies or whatever, you know, you can and still love them. Neptune Pisces is the ruler of Neptune, is the ruler of Pisces, if you're not familiar. That is the higher love. Bring me a higher love. I gotta watch how much I sing because I get flagged for that now. But that song popped into my head, you know, Stevie Winwood, Higher Love, yeah, definitely. You can be in, oh, I'm getting chills all over, woo! Yeah, you can be in higher love vibration. You can be, you know, or maybe you're not going to make it all the way there, but you don't have to fall all the way down to here either. There's just layers. That's how they're showing it to me. Layers and layers and layers. And it almost, you know, it's like timelines. And you could step foot on this timeline and have a miserable time, and I'm never talking to those assholes again, and, you know, they'll never learn, I hate them, you know, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere in the middle, or Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful in their old way? Look at their beautiful eyes and all they've seen in the world, and get past what's coming out of their mouth, or maybe even understand what's coming out of their mouth because what they've seen. I mean, I don't know if that's so much of a thing anymore. I think unfortunately, a lot of that generation is gone, but many of them lived through the Depression. Those are my grandparents. They're all most of that generation is gone now, but you could kind of, sorry, I thought I heard something. Maybe those aren't familiar. I'm dealing with a mouse thing. And every little noise I freak out. But that they were a lot of these, they were very rich hoarders, and kind of couldn't penny pinching because they lived through the Depression. So they're coming from a whole different place, and or maybe even lived through the Holocaust, depending on where. So maybe you can take that into consideration and go look at it from a higher level and just offer them some love and healing energy, rather than being angered or even forget about all that racist comments or different things like that. What if they're the types that are, when you getting married, where's your boyfriend, I got a nice boy I want to fix you up with. Oh, my hairdresser has a son I know you'll love. When you gonna find a nice boy and settle down? And that's just them coming from the generation of, that's what you did. You got married, and if you didn't get married, you were an old maid, and it was a sad situation, and instead of trying to explain to them, look, I'm an independent woman, if I want to love her, I'll have, whatever, trying to explain, I don't need a man to complete me, they're never going to get it, and just, okay, grandma, give him a kiss, and okay, don't try to, you don't need to rock that boat. And I just was kind of looking here. There's this Chiron, part of fortune. This whole thing, South Node, Jupiter, blah, blah, blah. And this, we got a square, a grand cross in the cardinal signs, too. So that change happens, healing happens. Healing can happen with the Chiron being involved. And the part of fortune. It was a mistake that I accidentally put this part of fortune in these charts a couple years ago, because I was like, I'm not going to put it. But time and time again, I feel like it has had a message for us, and it has come into play. There can be a fortunate turnabout here. It can be a blessing. Jupiter's involved, part of fortune's involved. Through healing and understanding and being a warrior of love, great things can happen. Yeah, I like that. Okay. I think that's where we're going to leave it. Hey everyone, I want to thank you. This is the last chart of the year. I want to thank you for all your support, not only this year, but the years before. I am still open for the year ahead readings, which is a little different. It's the whole year ahead, a little bit of astrology, more tarot and psychic stuff. And then I also am offering the readings focused specifically on that second eclipse in January 10th, because it involves the eclipse itself, and Jupiter will be on the south node, and the Saturn-Pluto is exact, like a day or so before that. So that's the areas that we'll focus on. So if you want to hone in and really take a look at how that affects your chart, that's available, your head's available, and all the other readings that I offer, and t-shirts, books, and whatnot. By supporting me through purchasing all my wares, that's what keeps these readings coming, keeps my channel going year after year. I appreciate many of you who have every year ordered that year ahead from me, and I'm working on getting those January readings. I don't know, I'll get them up at some point, but people who are ordering private readings are coming. That comes first. That comes before the getting those freebies up. I'm sorry, they're coming first. So you can still order it. The turnaround time, I always say, is like 7 to 10 days. Sometimes it's a little quicker, but no more than 10 days turnaround on those my private readings. I try to get them done. I usually try really hard to get them done within a week, but it doesn't always work out that way, but I try my best. Okay. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to hit that subscribe button, you can find and access my website above and below. So this is it. Don't be afraid. I'm a little afraid. No, but don't be afraid. Harness the power. Love is the answer. Not a world shine on me. Love is the answer. That's another good tune. Who's that? Todd, yeah. Love is the answer. Bring me a higher love. It's all about the love in the end anyway, right? That's what it's all about. I know this is Capricorn, and we don't really think of Capricorn as, you know, a big love sign. But I mean, not to just because I'm a Capricorn am I saying this, but I always get along with other Capricorns. I've had many long-term friendships with them. And really, they're kind of soft. You know, they're pretty soft underneath. They're pretty soft and gentle. Most of them are pretty soft and gentle spirits. They kind of get a bad rap, and they really do have a soft side, you know. So embrace the softer side. Have some love and understanding. Get your downloads. Get your things going. Some exciting surprises could be happening with the Uranian energy. I'm looking forward to see what that might be about. Alright, everyone, have a great holiday season. Happy New Year. I will be pulling the book, the Dictiomancy. I'll be doing that in the next, whenever, next week or so. So, thank you again. Have a great holiday season, a great new moon eclipse, and I'll speak to you soon.